Hey guys, it's Robert Wallace with Jagras Roofing. So today we're gonna do a repair on this pipe boot as requested by insurance. And we have another pipe boot, a little different style. We have metal. This is the plastic version of it, but it's universal, so it will go on this pipe. It's a 1.5 inch, 1.5 inch pipe. We're on claim number 0755685435. It's July the 18th, 24. It's currently 84 degrees. All right, so in order to repair this pipe boot, this has to lift straight up off that pipe. And you see how this is square. As far as this one as well, it's the same thing. It's square, so it's gonna have to come straight up. So as I see, nails will have to come out of this shingle. Then you'll have to break this one loose, and also the one behind it, this one beside it, and pretty sure this one and possibly this one. And this shingle will have to come all the way out in order to lift this up without damaging the shingle. So this shingle right here will have to come all the way out and then be put back. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. I got this flat bar, so I'm gonna go ahead and get right here and start breaking loose the shingles. Just a side-to-side motion. Don't want to be too rough. But you gotta break the tar line loose.
Hey Robert, too, right here. As soon as your bar came underneath that tab immediately started delaminating the corner edge of it. Yeah, that one and the first one as well.
And the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can see it's already starting to delaminate. And that's on the first one. Already a sign that these shingles are going to be non-repairable.
Yeah, what we're talking about here, guys, just so that you can see that. As soon as he ran under, see how that corner popped? That's delaminating the shingle. That'll never sit back down right.
Let's go ahead and get this one. Get up under there. Side to side motion. Try to break this tar line loose. You want to keep it flat. You don't want to jam the bar through the shingle. Alright, so now that one's broke loose. We'll have to start up here and get this one as well broke loose. So let's see if we can get up, find a point to get up under it. Like I said, you want to be gentle as best you can. Looks like it's giving me a tough time right there, JT. There we go. On the tar line, once again, the side to side motion.
And the same thing here. As soon as that shingle started to move with your pipe bar, this right here started to lip up. So again, delamination.
So we got her in the back. That's the one that's going to have to come out. Now we'll have to get on top of this one. You can already see it starting to tear this tab right here. And it's delaminating. Just that lifting up, you can see the delamination right there in that tab. This whole shingle right here has to come out in order to lift it up properly without damaging it. see that lifting up on that?
Yeah, you can see it buckling right there, yeah.
That's also delamination. Classic sign of a non-repairable roof, you guys. Just being as gentle as I possibly can.
And of course, just a side note, little commentary in the background here. We sent in a video already demonstrating that the roof was non-repairable. They asked us to do a pipe jack replacement. You can see when he's lifting that shingle up how the tabs on the top are curling. They're not bending with the shingle, they're bending in an opposite direction. That's delamination. The response was, because they have claimed that the damage on the roof was wear and tear and blistering, that they were not replacing any shingles. Thus the good faith video was a mute point. What we're showing here is clearly to remove this pipe jack. Obviously we're having to remove shingles on a roof that has already been deemed non-repairable. So in the process of doing this, we're going to end up damaging probably 4 or 5 shingles to replace this pipe jack. All of that pointing to the fact that we've tried to drive home, which is this roof's too old to repair, it's too brittle. You could see earlier when he lifted up that mat, you could see mat transfer. What mat transfer is when that shingle separates from that tar line. If it's an older shingle, it'll rip parts of the matting out and it'll stay stuck to the tar line, or it'll rip the tar up.
You see that?
And it'll stick to the bottom of it.
Already started.
When it does that, that shingle will never seep back down properly, because now that tar strip has been damaged. Again, that's pretty consistent with these older roofs. So we want to be showing those things, and you'll be able to see under here what I'm talking about. You can see where it's shiny, and then you see areas that it's flat. You can see down there where the matting's pulled off of it. Any of the areas that are flats where the matting under here is ripped loose and is now stuck to that tar line. So again, lines right up with our initial video that we done showing that the shingles are in fact not repairable. And then again, the response back was, well, we're not replacing any shingles, we're just replacing all of the collateral metals on the home for hail damage. So the statement was made that the repairability video was a moot point, but again, to replace this boot, we're having to remove shingles in the same manner that we would if we were doing a repair. And of course, you can see looking down through there how the tabs are curled up on the edges. That's where they're starting to delaminate from just lifting the shingles. We're just getting the pry bar underneath it. Once you have to lift these to a height to where we can actually nail the shingle back down, you're going to see a lot more of that delamination, and you're also probably going to see creasing at the tops of them, etc. Textbook with non-repairability, traditionally speaking, when a roof is non-repairable, that would include removing any component on the roof because you're having to lift the shingles. But we're trying to go the extra mile to give them all that they need to make the correct decision for the customer.
It's catching somewhere. Found it right here.
Of course, as you've seen, as soon as he picked it up, just from that minimal movement on there, you saw a lot of granule coming off of the shingle. Because again, non-repairable roofs, any movement in the shingle will begin to either crease or pop the granule out of place. Par for the course for a non-repairable roof. And then again here, you can see that up close. These shingles are cut very neatly around these pipe jacks. So when you're in the process of removing that boot, you have to remove the shingles in order to replace that boot. You're already damaging shingles in the process of that. And again, you see the spots of the tar where that came off and it stuck to the bottom side of that shingle. It's supposed to be a solid line all the way across. So again, another form of damage.
So you see, in the process of having to do this, I've had to manipulate about 6 different shingles in order to get to this boot.
And you could probably just hear while I was talking and see all of that granule that came off of that shingle.
And you got creasing right there. You can see the tab is starting to delaminate. You can see it right here delaminating. It's delaminating right there.
And then again, your tar strip, you see all the blank spots in it. That's where the tar has stuck to the bottom side of the other shingle. Again, common with a non-repairable roof. Now when we put these shingles back, they're never going to seal back down correctly.
All right, JT. So now I can slide it directly off the pipe like it's supposed to be. You see, it was a proper installation before, and where this tar strip has been broke loose, it's no longer even going to stick down. And you see that we have creasing right here in the shingles from lifting these up. We got creasing right there, creasing right here at the top of this one, creasing at the top of this one, and so on and so forth, all the way up here. And you had to remove all these just to remove that, to get this off properly. And you see we have delamination in the shingles, got creasing, classic sign of a non-repairable roof, creasing at the top, delamination of the tabs.
And then matte transfer from the shingles. And again, guys, just so that everybody that's watching, you know, adjusters included, so I know a lot of people watch these to learn. Matte transfer is where whenever you're trying to get a shingle broken loose, it pulls the matting from the bottom of the shingle, which now has damaged the bottom side of that shingle. It'll never seal properly, or it pulls, as you can see on this one, and of course the one there, it pulls the tar up and off of the shingle beneath it, which is now stuck to the bottom of the matting. And of course, again, it will no longer seal properly. So in the process of trying to do this, we've damaged roughly 5 to 6 shingles just to replace one boot. And now that those shingles have been damaged, we'll have to repair and replace those shingles on a roof that is currently non-repairable, which means that process will never end until you've eventually replaced the entirety of the roof. And of course, as you can see, the side robert in the background, and of course down through here, the slope that we're on laces underneath that slope. So to replace or remove this slope, you would have to replace and remove that slope as well. And that carries on across the entire side of the back of the house. You have another pipe jack and a vent on the other side of the house. So once you get done replacing pipe jacks and vents, you're going to have about 80 to 85% of the roof that will have to be replaced in order to put this back to a pre-damaged condition. And of course, you can see just as he's driving nails, you can literally see granule rolling off of the roof. Every time he hits it, you see granule popping up. It's because it's a super aged roof. That matting is beginning to be dry rotted and cracked underneath. A repair on this roof is absolutely not going to be the correct thing to do for the customer. He needs to have the roof replaced. Also, he's going to have to cut and manipulate that shingle so that it'll fit around the new pipe jack.
See how much I got to cut real quick, JT.
Yes, sir. Here you go.
Held up off the shingles so I don't cut the other shingles in the process. Definitely don't want to cut my hand either.
For sure, for sure. And of course, right now he's just getting an outline of what he needs to cut off. Once he gets that outline, he'll flip the shingle upside down and cut it from the smooth side of the back. That ends up saving your razor. That saves you from having to try to stab through it. And of course, you get a nice clean cut.
Come down. I'm going to have to cut a little bit more right here for it to sink down.
Here, Robert, help out, make this quick, and it'll give you a time to show them some of that damage. I'll make that cut for you.
Oh, I got it right. I got
You got it? Okay. Because I know these videos can kind of get long for these adjusters to watch.
Just let me see how much more on this back side made it out of there. I've got to come down. There we go. All right. Okay, so that made it difficult. It's got to go up under that.
Yeah, you got it.
There we go. Give all new nail holes right here.
And of course, as you notice, he's nailing just above the tar line. You don't ever want to nail in the tar line because that could pull down and of course prevent adhesion to the shingle above it, which we're not going to have good adhesion on this one anyway because again there was mat transfer on the bottom side of these. whenever we were removing the shingles.
All right, it's gonna be the difficult part.
Yeah, here, I'll help. There you go. Bear with me, hands might get a little shaky while I'm trying to help hold these up.
Come in this way like this. Yeah, so. Oh, you're right.
All right.
You see that tab broke right there in the process of this. Trying to put this back in there in place. End of it. Nail these shingles back in place. Create a new nail hole. Let's see. There's one. We took a nail out right here, so.
There's again.
There's
When he
two.
lifts it up, you can see all that granule coming right off just from the lifting of the shingles. You can clearly see your crease mark coming across from where the shingles are being lifted up. You can see delamination under the edge. That edge is not supposed to be lifted like that. So, again, to properly have done this roof or even this repair, you would now need to replace 5 to 6 shingles, but every time you go to replace a shingle, you're going to be damaging 2 to 3 shingles above it.
Whew. Last couple ones from the nails we took out the top. See it lifted up. Right here. Same thing, you got creasing right there. Creasing at the top of the shingles. You got delamination in the tabs. It's non-repairable, you guys. One more nail. Last one right here. Best I can, you see it, tabs breaking away. You got delamination right there. Creasing at the top of these shingles, you guys. The granule just falling. Classic sign of a non-repairable roof.
Let me show, you can see this line coming right through here. That's the crease mark from lifting the shingle. You can see the same line coming through here. Same line coming right here. Granule loss creasing in the matting. See it coming right across here. You see where this tab actually broke. And then of course, same thing down on every shingle that was lifted.
So you guys, I hope this is all you need as far as seeing the repairability and how many shingles actually have to be manipulated in order to put this pipe boot in. Once again, this is Robert Wallace with Jagras Roofing. Thank you guys.